Hello and welcome back to the Scrollies podcast. I am one of your co-hosts, Team Ratnado of twitch.tv/TeamRatnado, and we are here to talk about. I'm joined as always by the one, the only.
It's Squat Cobbler coming back at you. How's it going, everyone?
That's Squat Cobbler. You know him. He wanted to talk about Monkey this week. I told him no. I'm sorry. We'll do it next week. In fact,
I want to talk about Monkey every week.
Every single week, and I think we may just have to come up with Monkey May or something. That's pending. We'll see.
The trademark's still in review.
Yeah, we've got to do some things, and we're in talk with, I guess, Rare, right?
Oh, yeah. Well, they don't have as much of a say over Monkey anymore, but Nintendo's lawyers keep giving us, the side eye, so I don't know if we're going to have much luck there.
Yeah, that seems about right. We'll fight them, though. For you, the viewers, and for Squat Cobbler, we will fight Nintendo legally.
They have that cease and desist just ready to go. You know, for any given content creator, they're just prepped and waiting.
I would actually be really excited to know that somewhere digitally there is an email that specifically says Scrollies podcast, cease and desist, no more.
Stop using our music and sound effects.
Oh Lord. I'm actually terrified about that. Well, as you saw in the title, today we've got a pretty interesting and fun subject for me especially. I grew up in a time when movie tie-ins were a thing. It's kind of changed a bit. But before we jump into all of that, Squat Cobbler, I got a question for you. What you playing, Squat?
Whoa. That question came out of nowhere. I can't believe you asked that. Well, Ratnado, if you can believe it, I've been playing a little bit of stuff here and there. I was inspired by a recent personal best run of Super Mario 64 to fire that up. Shout out the audio.
Hey!
Coming in at just over... Not quite that good. I'm not a speedrunner or anything, but I like Wahoo and hopping my way around the 64 levels.
Yeah.
Been playing on Switch. Last year I was playing on the PC port that none of you should seek out because that's frowned upon.
Wait, that's real? There actually was I didn't know there was a PC port.
Oh, this is exciting. So they reverse engineered Super Mario 64 in its entirety, and this is before the source code was leaked. Yeah. You can. I mean, again, the Scrollies podcast does not condone this. Do so at your own discretion, but. There are places on the internet, bad places you shouldn't go, that you can find a file for Super Mario 64 and it runs natively in widescreen. There are a bunch of mods for it now, graphical enhancements. It's basically the only way to play Super Mario 64 HD because that wasn't given to us on the 3D All-Stars port. But regardless, that's what I've been playing on 3D All-Stars. It's on Switch. It's in 4x3, but it's just like you remember it, just without the backwards long jumping, which I can't do anyway because I'm not that good.
Dude, that's weird that they took that out. Why did they take that out? Did they just specifically want, like, hey, speedrunners, no?
So from what I gathered at the time, and speedrunners, they're a little split on the port. I think certain speedrunning communities are all about the backwards long jump, and then others don't use it. So I guess it kind of depends. But they used a specific build of Super Mario 64. I think it was a Japan-only release initially on the original console that patched out a few glitches and replaced a few sound effects. And that's the one they used for 3D All-Stars. I think it also had Rumble support, and that's probably why they prioritized that for Switch, was so they could just include that easy.
Insane. I had no idea about that. Yeah, I got the All-Stars. And I remember, maybe it was New Year's during my 24-hour stream, and Lori was like, "Learn the 16-star run," which you need BLJs for, and apparently, not possible on the Switch version. So,
nope. But hey, we'll leave the speed run in 64 to the experts like Joey PBZ and the audio and Lori Ocalypse. Shout out.
Powwow. All the folks. Yeah. Did you know that I'm still working on Lori's run that she wanted me to do.
Oh, I haven't seen updates since New Year's. That's exciting. Super Mario 64 speedrun when?
Oh, geez. If I had the dedication and the time to do it, I could do it in a week. I watch audio and I'm like, oh, I could do this. I'm up to 5 stars. I can get Lakitu skip, bomb clip, and just the first 4 or 5 things that you have to do. I can get them pretty easy now.
You heard it here, everyone. He shamed Grey Mitzi on his own channel in Onimusha. Now he's going to go head-to-head with audio in a Super Mario 64 speedrun.
Yeah,
You're hearing it here first.
25 minutes, chump. I can easily get a 23 minute.
Oh snap. Oh snap. Audio, do you have anything you want to say about this? He's calling you out. Audio?
Come on, man.
Audio, what? You're not gonna respond? Okay.
He's bashful. He's shy.
I mean, that was directed right to you. That was your lead-in audio. Okay, whatever.
He's just smiling. It's hard to get him too angry.
He's happy. Yeah, he's just still riding high off that new personal best. So congrats to you, audio. Maybe you'll answer the call for a race someday. Ratnado, how about yourself? What have you been playing offline?
Okay, this is gonna be a surprise. Guess what franchise I've been playing? I won't tell you the game yet, but guess what franchise?
Does it have two of the same letters as its logo and acronym?
Yes.
Okay. Well, that narrows it down some. Have you been playing the Suicide Squad game by Rocksteady?
Oh my gosh! Yeah, I got an advanced copy, of course.
Man. Wow, man! It's not Final Fantasy VII Remake Part 2, but hey, he's getting an advanced copy from somewhere.
Yeah, exactly. That's kind of what I've been going for this whole time. That was the joke. The joke was Final Fantasy. No, I've been playing Final Fantasy.
Whoa.
I've been raising my levels. I've been building a party. But in a game that a lot of you might know, some of you might know, if you watched Samsonite D a week or two ago, the boy was playing Final Fantasy Theatrhythm Curtain Call.
Oh! I thought you just made that up. Wow, it's a real game.
Those are real words put together in that order.
Now, this is not the Dark Souls clone, Strangers of Paradise. This is a different game.
No,
it's on 3DS. He's holding up a case to me right now. I now see it. It's real. This game exists.
Actually, it's been a real difficult time to do this. So, I think it was last week, 2 weeks ago, I can't remember exactly when, Samsonite D was playing this game, and I was like, I've got that packed up somewhere. And so began a slow, meticulous process of going through all my packed up stuff as I'm getting ready to move again. I had to dig through all of them. I was able to find the game, but then I had to find my 3DS, and the charge was dead, so then I had to find my charger, which ultimately didn't end up finding.
Oh.
But shout out to my friend Hunting Dwarf. There's some numbers on that. He let me borrow his 3DS charger, and I've been playing it a lot, actually.
Heck yeah.
Good times, good memories. Basically, it's kind of like Guitar Hero, but with Final Fantasy songs, and you do damage and stuff.
Very nice, very nice. Well, if there's anything about Final Fantasy everyone knows and loves, it's One Winged Angel.
One Winged Angel, and it's really good on there, especially the DK mashup.
Oh yeah. This is the strongest pull to play Final Fantasy, folks. It's for the inevitable DK crossover rhythm game.
Dude, I bet somebody's made a Clone Hero song for that, for the DK One Winged Angel mashup.
I'll be right back.
Wow, man, that was really great. That was fun. You know what? Let's just quit everything else and just do that.
Yeah, I think I'm just gonna become a Clone Hero streamer from now on. So I'll see you guys all. I gotta go dig out my Wiimote Guitar Hero adapter. I already got the mic. I'm using the Guitar Hero mic right now, but.
Oh my goodness!
In case you think I'm joking, I'm not. I actually am using a Guitar Hero mic for this.
Let it be known, let it be added to the lore. Squat Cobbler has always used the Guitar Hero mic for Scrollies.
Sure.
I love though that you like Thick Boys in the future. I mean, or I guess in the present, technically, they've got all
your
the good
present,
stuff.
my future.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Fair. But I do want to say, anybody who's sick of me talking about Final Fantasy, my newest goal is to get rid of or get done with Final Fantasy IV, Final Fantasy VI, Strangers of Paradise, and then I think announcement. I'm moving into Devil May Cry for a bit.
should have been the one to fill your dark soul with light.
Whoa, he's gonna be playing Dante, that character from the Devil May Cry series.
The one that everybody loves.
The one that everybody loves from the Devil May Cry series. It's Dante from the Devil May Cry.
yeah, not the guy who, not the philosopher, the Italian philosopher, unfortunately.
No. Well, that's exciting, Ratnado. I look for. I've never played any of those games, nor do I have any experience with it beyond that meme. But I look forward to seeing this start. Are you going through all the games?
For sure, I'm going to go through 1, 2, and 3 because they've got pretty good remasters now. And then we'll kind of see where I am after there. The good thing about these games, though, is they're not very long.
Very nice.
So,
well, breaking announcement, everyone. Devil May Cry Ratnado streams coming your way in the future.
In the future. At least 1, 2, and 3. And then we'll see about the rest. Probably can skip the reboot, maybe 5. Well, thank you, Squat Cobbler. Good to know what's going on. Good to know that you're still doing stuff, and I'm sure everyone's assured that I'm still playing Final Fantasy. There is still some things in the world that you can count on, and that is that Ratnado is going to be obsessing about Final Fantasy.
There aren't many constants in life, but Final Fantasy Ratnado pairing, that's one of them.
I'm trying to expand. All right, so today's topic, Squat Cobbler, do you remember the time when movie tie-in games were all the rage?
I remember a time not too long ago, but long ago enough, that you could go to the theater, watch a movie, a blockbuster, kids film, and then you'd walk into your local Toys R Us, and you'd see that same movie in the form of a game on the shelf just released, side by side with the movie. Not really a thing anymore. I don't really see that happening too often. If there is a game based on a movie, it usually comes out a little while after. Aside from maybe the kids' games are still doing that. I don't frequent them as much as I once did. But I do remember this time well, Ratnado, as I'm sure you do yourself.
Yeah, exactly. I was going to say, too, that there was always something that I didn't understand as a kid. Maybe as a kid in the 90s. I hit my teens in the mid-2000s. But during those times, that was something that just always happened. There was always a tie-in game, and it was, for the most part, not as good as a regular game, but they had to hit those deadlines, you know? Immediately, the first thing that comes to mind is the Captain America movie in, 2011 that was just terrible.
Oh, yes, there was a game for that, wasn't there? And Thor.
And Thor.
And Iron Man. But then, funny enough, the Avengers didn't get a game. At least not right away. There was an Avengers game that came out that year. I remember because it was right when I got my Wii U. I got Arkham City and I got an Avengers game. Were the first two games I had on Wii U. And Nintendo Land. Shout out Reliant K fan. That's still the best one in his words.
Yeah.
But this Avengers game, it was really like it played like a mobile game. Like you just kind of like spammed attacks and you just fought through all these Marvel characters. But it wasn't just like MCU. It was there were X-Men characters in there too. There was Fantastic Four. So yeah, not really like an MCU tie-in. Right. That's not really something they've done since then. I mean, as far as with the release of the films.
It really does start to feel like a relic of a different age. It is somewhat too like how when a movie comes out, like a big blockbuster film, you've got the soundtrack, which is, hey, the original tracks used in the movie. But then you also had the tie-in modern bands and singers of they sing this song on this album and no one really knows it or really likes it that much, but it's inspired by the movie.
Yeah, whatever that means.
Whatever that means. And it was a weird time. Squat Cobbler, not all of those movie tie-ins were especially bad. And I want to tell you about a game. Actually, I'm going to check in with you. This one came out a little bit later too. But I want to start with the best of the best before we start to talk about all the bad. Again, like I said, this didn't come out exactly the same time. But do you remember a little game called GoldenEye 007?
Was that the very same GoldenEye made by the DK Revolution Trailblazers Rareware?
You know what? It just might be. I'm not gonna...
Oh my gosh!
Dude, do you remember GoldenEye? Was GoldenEye a thing for you? Because you're a little bit younger than I am.
So, N64 certainly was a thing for me. It may have been a thing for me during the time the GameCube was out, for reasons, but regardless, it was a thing for me. GoldenEye, one of the best games on the N64. I don't think anyone would disagree there, especially in regards to multiplayer. However, GoldenEye was not a thing for me at that point in time. It was much later, college. I started collecting some N64 carts back before the prices blew up. They were somewhat reasonable then. And GoldenEye was one that I got for the first time then, and likewise, for the first time, I used the left side of the N64 controller exclusively to control it.
Wait, so you reached all the way across?
No. So we'll get into more details here in the video game controller episode. But I, for one, think the N64 controller isn't bad. You're just holding it wrong, everyone. There are 3 different manners you can hold this controller. It's got 3 prongs. It looks like it's made for aliens. But if you think about it, for the majority of games, platformers and the like, you're going to use the left hand on center prong, where the control stick is. Right hand on the side with the face buttons.
Right.
For 2D side scrollies, of which there are very few on the N64, you would hold left hand on the left prong where the D-pad is, right hand, right prong where the face buttons are. But for shooters and whatnot, you could hold left hand, left prong, D-pad for movement, right hand center prong where the control stick is, and use that to look around and use the trigger to shoot. That's how I play GoldenEye. I don't know if that's the main. I don't know if that's the main. In fact, from your reaction, I'm gathering that it's not the main way that you're supposed to hold the controller, but it is one of the options in the settings. So.
What? Okay.
To answer to come back
the
here.
Regular category. We got to just talk about this now. Squat Cobbler, how are you holding your controllers?
We've gone off the rails, everyone. We're talking about the N64 controller now. Change the episode name. I can't claim that I'm doing things as they're intended by the developer, but it was an option given to me, and I took that on myself and made it the norm for Squat Cobbler playing N64 shooters. Okay,
I won't harp on this too long, but I do remember there was like this thing about using 2 controllers as one.
That is also a thing that a few games support. I know Star Wars Episode 1 Racer, you could do that. You could control both engines with 2 controllers. I think it had like one into control port 1, one into control port 3 for it to recognize. But GoldenEye was another for the double weapons. For the 2-handed weapons, you would have one controller control one controller control the other. This could only be done on the N64, folks, because it's really weirdly shaped. But again, not a bad controller for reasons such as this. It allows for some unique possibilities.
Yeah. I think you're right. And that came out 3 years. This game came out 3 years after the movie came out. I don't ever feel like it was like corporate setting it off like, hey, we've got a movie, we got to have a game tie-in. I don't think it was quite like this, so I don't know if this counts exactly. I'm going to say it does because, hey, game development was different back then. And I remember that like there's like this whole generation of millennials out there like me who are like, yeah, GoldenEye, yeah, totally, of course I know GoldenEye.
And slappers only, right?
Slappers, exactly. And they have probably this weird love for the actual GoldenEye movie, and even for Pierce Brosnan probably. That is very strange for our generation because it's like, why GoldenEye? Like, it's a fine movie.
GoldenEye is a fine James Bond. For those of you that are coming here for our movie opinions, which are maybe 3 of you.
Well, there's 4 people altogether, so
it was a reboot of the James Bond series in the 90s, post Cold War. And they made a video game for it years after the fact. I think even around the time another James Bond was coming out. So pretty unique case. But hey, inarguably a pretty good movie tie-in game.
Yeah, pretty great. I think one of the best. Herald is one of the best games of all time. Still, I think a lot of people, it's got its jank now. It's very dated. It's very old, but it is the grandpappy that kind of really sent us on the path of FPSs being as big as they are.
Console shooters, I think, all owe quite a bit to GoldenEye in this day and age.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There is another one. There is another Squat Cobbler.
Ooh.
I know that you specifically have a genre of movie tie-in that you wanted to talk about.
Yes. So we all know the cash grab movie tie-ins. But what if I said, hey, there is a series that, while not all perfect, managed to capture the spirit of a number of franchises in wacky and unique manners, often parrying them and being beloved for it. Yes, my friends. I am, of course, talking about the Lego games. Thought I was gonna do a gotcha there, but no, I actually am talking about the Lego games. I like them a lot. They're fun. They're simple. You can pick them up with a buddy, or you can play them on your own, and they cover all these different franchises. You know, of course, Lego Star Wars, the Skywalker Saga just came out. I have yet to play that, unfortunately. I'm really trying to, beg the Great Ape to give me a copy of it sent back. But, people seem to be really enjoying it. I have very fond memories of the original Lego Star Wars Complete Saga. And many after that. Lego Indiana Jones, the first one, not the second one. Let's just make that clear. Lego Batman, Lego Pirates of the Caribbean. The last one I really played was Lego Marvel, but I know there was Lord of the Rings, Hobbit, Jurassic World, Incredibles, and even MCU Avengers. Those got a Lego game. So
DC villains.
DC. The Batman games kind of expanded far beyond Gotham, as I think one of the subtitles was. Yeah. So Lego games. They're a dime a dozen, but hey, standard of quality. Pretty good, I'd say. Pretty good.
Yeah.
Ratnado, do you have experience with this series?
Of course I do. Not quite to the extent that you do. I just want to point out really quick, too, that I love that this continues the tradition of Squat Cobbler having a thing. Star Wars, Lord of the Rings, Marvel, DC, all these things that in their own right have their own games. And, Squat Cobbler just wants to play kind of a cutesy version of it.
I want to play the Lego, and in fact, I even played it on the Nintendo consoles of my time, on the Wii U.
No, I actually have a lot of good memories about this. I remember back in the PS3 era, probably this had to be in like 2012, 2013. There was a good chunk of time that I spent with an ex-girlfriend just playing through Lord of the Rings and Star Wars. We had a lot of fun.
Lord of the Rings was a bit of a controversial one, I remember when it came out, because it was the first one to have voice acting. Before that, they just did grunts and mms.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I just remember that we got through, I think it's Fellowship. I don't know if they had them all in the same one, but we got through Fellowship, and we had a really good time. And outside of that, I don't have as much fun playing them on my own. Shout out sports game guy, Teo Dafa, twitch.tv/Teo Dafa. My brother, I remember we would hang out and play the Batman game too.
That second one introduced that open world, and it was a fun time flying around as Superman, walking around as Batman because you can't fly and don't have superpowers. But your name's on the box, so hey,
top billing. I think that I had a lot of good memories about this, and I'd like to get more into them. It's kind of one of the things where it's just like I think that I'm waiting for the complete version of them. Like I have, episodes 1 through 6 on what was then the complete saga of Star Wars, and I've played that quite a bit. And then now there's a new one, and we'll see. I don't want to make Plaidman angry by getting the complete edition.
Well, the complete plus extra. We'll call it for Plaidman 86.
Plus extra, plus ultra. Question, Squat Cobbler, do you think those are a good representation of the movie tie-in?
I think no, they do not represent the movies well, but they capture the spirit of the movies, if that makes sense, in a jokey, tongue-in-cheek manner. If you're gonna take yourself seriously, if you're gonna, get all gruff and edgy like Sonic the Werehog, then you might have to seek elsewhere than the Lego games. Perhaps a more grounded, direct adaptation of the movies. But I find those to be a little boring, if I'm being honest. Especially because a lot of the times they're working off an early version of the story, so they just have all this extra stuff in there that wasn't in the movie. So it's like you're playing like a different thing anyway. So it's like, why do I even have to play this when I could just be playing something that's a little more fantastical and not so tied to a specific movie.
Right. That's actually really interesting. I hadn't thought about that because I've noticed that too, and I always thought it was like a copyright thing of like, well, we don't want the whole story out there. It can kind of look like it But I guess that makes sense.
Yeah, from what I understand, it's mostly because they're working with some very early drafts of the script. Because they got to be making the game while they're making the movie, so stuff changes. Things are re-edited and development issues happen. So it's just the manner of developing two projects side by side.
Yeah. Well, I think that is a good representation. Lego is always really accessible, really fun, and I do enjoy those. And I guess some of them probably have been released around the same time, right? Some of them have to have been.
Oh, I'm sure. Yeah. If I remember right, even the Hobbit Lego games came out before the third movie was even out. So they had to release the third movie's chapters as DLC after the fact, like about a year later.
Wow.
I thought that was dumb, but that's that's just me, I guess.
I guess so. I mean, if they hadn't done that, everybody would have known how The Hobbit ends, right? Like, there's no other way they could have figured out what happens at the end of Hobbit.
Guys, spoiler alert for the Hobbit book and movie series. In the third chapter of this Hobbit saga, they all fight.
If you can believe it.
Yes.
Bilbo survives with the ring. Spoiler alert!
Oh my gosh! Whoa! Hey! Let's not spoil Lord of the Rings here. All right?
Yes. That decades-old book and decades-old movie at this point.
Can't believe it. Can't believe Lord of the Rings is 2 decades old. But hey, that's just how it is. That's how it is.
Did you know? Like all the things. But that's the thing that's going around right now. That what's his name? The Aragorn actor.
Oh, Viggo Mortensen.
Yeah, Viggo Mortensen is now the same age as Ian McKellen was when he played Gandalf. Which is, that is a little crazy to me. That is kind of, I'm getting up there.
Well, Aragorn's really 80 years old if you watch the extended edition, so that's not too surprising.
Yeah, you're right.
Ian McKellen's got to be at least 105.
Yeah. Oh, 100%.
Speaking of Lord of the Rings, though, this is a nice little segue. Games that are sort of, kind of, within the movies universe, but also telling its own story. A la Shadow of Mordor, Shadow of War.
Oh yeah,
you played those games?
Yeah, I started the first one. It didn't hook me. I don't know why.
Yeah.
And then I just never got the second one because there was this whole loot crates and and so that's when I stopped. I was like, I'm not gonna get any more into this game.
Okay, that's my warning to steer clear. I was thinking of playing the second one, but now I'm
I think they've removed it now. I think now it's old enough that they're like, whatever. We just need people to buy it.
They must have gotten some pride and accomplishment backlash.
Oh boy, that's gonna be an episode one day.
Yeah, well, I for one enjoyed the first game at least, Shadow of Mordor, and it takes place in the series of movies. It's a bit of a prequel, sequel. The Hobbit takes place in between them. And some characters show up, but otherwise it's sort of its own thing. And I think that's kind of the era that we find ourselves in now when it comes to movie tying games. It's like, hey, this is like sort of like a thing within the movies, but not really. Like we're doing our own thing. Star Wars, especially. I mean, they've always kind of done that. Even Marvel Avengers, Marvel Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Lots of nods to movies, but not necessarily within a specific feature film release that it's trying to harken. Yeah.
I want to bring up one that kind of fits what you're talking about of like very much being involved with this. That's what you were talking about there, I think. Okay, you probably don't. And go ahead, I'll gush about it for a second. But I have very, very good memories of the game called Enter the Matrix.
Oh my, this was a little before my time.
Enter the Matrix was a game that came out, I believe, like 2001 or something like that. I remember I was still in middle school, and I'd saved up all my allowance and working for the neighbor in his garden and stuff like that. I'd saved up my $50, $60, whatever it was. And we went on a field trip, and I got it. And this was the time, so 1999, you have The Matrix, right? A couple years later, probably 2002, actually, now that I think about it, it was on GameCube. And
it wasn't on the Sega Dreamcast?
Unfortunately, no. I kind of do wish that I had jumped more into Sega Dreamcast.
That's a shame, because the Sega Dreamcast did have an Ethernet port, and the GameCube didn't, folks.
Hey, but you could upgrade the GameCube to have one.
Well, Sega does and Nintendo don't. Let's just be clear. Like they had that included from the start, folks.
Okay. Hey, Squat, you win.
Yeah. Back off my Sega train.
So we had The Matrix that came out in 1999. 3 years later, it had claimed commercial success, tons of people interested, and the Wachowskis put together, they kind of came out and said, we want to have this experience, say what you will about The Matrix Reloaded, but they wanted an integrated story. So everything that happens in Enter the Matrix, it does take place like, and then one street over, this was happening.
Ah, one of those. Just out of frame, we have the likenesses of the actors that we can't afford to license.
Yeah, pretty much. But they do, and there are like cutscenes that like you see them, and so like there's this whole scene in The Matrix Reloaded. I'm gonna spoil it for you all. It's your fault at this point. There's a scene in Matrix Reloaded where Morpheus goes falling off the truck that they're fighting on. Morpheus falls off. Oh no, he's gonna land. He's gonna die, and he crashes into the car of the two main characters of Enter the Matrix. Guess what? In the game, you get to play up to that moment and catch Morpheus.
Well, that's very exciting. Hey, you don't get to take part in the main fight. You get to drive a car up right behind it. No, I'm sure in the game it was just exciting.
Yeah, no, it really was. And now I'm sure it's not impressive at all. You could go watch a YouTube video.
They have that new Matrix tech demo on PS5.
It is pretty good. I watched Samsonite D play that. I haven't done it myself, but I don't know if you've seen it.
I have not played it, but
no.
Very, very cool. So bit of history there, I guess. You're having your games that take place within the movie's canon, but not necessarily an adaptation of the movie, going all the way back to the Matrix. Yeah. Do you think this is the norm for things going forward? Do you think we're going to get less and less of these adaptations outright? I think we already are, but how about yourself? You think this is sort of the thing where we're going to be getting things in the world of these movies instead of adaptations of the movies?
It's interesting to see what's happened in the past even 2 decades, because that Enter the Matrix, other things like that was that old school mentality of we have to have everything to accompany this movie. That was the big thing. And then I think in the 2010s, we had a switch from that where people were trying to we don't have to make it within this story. We don't have to make it match with it, whatever's going on with the movie. But there is something artistic that we want to do with it. There's a lot of things where we had the Dark Knight trilogy coming out. We had the DCEU specifically, but at the same time, the Arkham City games.
Oh, yeah.
Or, Arkham City, Arkham Asylum, Arkham Knight,
and
all
even
those.
the Injustice games along with those.
Injustice games along with those. From what I'm seeing, it seems like everything is just condensing down more and more and more, and everything kind of gets its own thing. And especially with everything that's going on with like Warner Bros, like just to use like DC and Batman for an example, I don't know. I think it's going to be really interesting what happens in this next decade, and I think that we are going to see more of a move towards games being regarded as their own thing.
Absolutely. There's even an Avatar game that's been announced. That huge franchise Avatar that consists of one movie and more coming, but at the moment, one movie. It's a huge franchise, everyone. And there's a game coming out for it. And I don't really know any more details beyond that because I just saw the trailer last year. But
last year, wow, cutting edge stuff.
Truly, we'll just have to look forward to an update at E3. Oh wait.
Oh no. See, when people give crap to Square Enix, and not that I approve of Square Enix taking forever, but James Cameron, what's going on? What happened, James Cameron? This is I'm calling him out.
It's coming out next year, guys, in 2014 for sure. Guys, it's been delayed for just a couple of years. It'll be out in 2016, I promise.
Oh my gosh.
Guys, 2018 for sure. Hey, everyone. 2020, Avatar 2, it's coming.
Ooh.
Hey, guys, pandemic hit. We're going to push it off to 2022. Guys, I don't know if it's coming out this year. I'm going to be real.
It's getting a little late now.
But it's got a theme park, and that's pretty exciting. We'll be seeing that at RatCon, I guess.
This isn't a hot take, but Avatar, I don't get the hype for it. I don't understand. Who is the mega fan out there who's just buying all the Avatar merch?
Hey, I went to see Avatar in theaters in 3D in 2009. Yeah. I'm sure there's a lot of other people like me who went to see it in theaters in 2009 in 3D.
Bro, 13 years ago.
So we're surely going to get that same turnout for Avatar 2, no doubt. Hey, there are a few guarantees in life, everyone. Ratnado plays Final Fantasy. That's one of them. But another one, don't bet against James Cameron. All right, just take it for what it is. Avatar 2, it's going to be the highest grossing movie of all time. Somehow, some way. I don't understand it either, but that's just how it's going to be.
Well, we'll see what continues to happen. I wouldn't mind it. It reminds me of a time when things were very sure. I do miss the movie tie-in a little bit, but maybe not the quality of the games. If we could make something just as quality as the movies that we get, that would be great.
I will happily take waiting a few years to play a story in the world of my favorite movies than to play a pale imitation of my favorite movies.
Perfect. Well, Squawk Cobbler, do you have any last comments, any thoughts on this?
Right as this podcast is done, I'm going to go check if Lego Star Wars Skywalker Saga is on sale, and then I'm going to get sad when it's not, and wait even longer.
Oh, no. It probably won't for a while, bud.
I know. But luckily, it's not a Nintendo game, so it will go on sale eventually.
Yes, exactly. Oh, my lord. That's too true. All right, everyone. Thanks for listening to us. If you have questions or comments, things you want to, you can always email us at scrolliespodcast@gmail.com. Please rate, review, 5-star us. You can tell us why we're wrong, but just give us a 5-star, please. And I don't know, maybe we'll read it on air or something like that. Right, Squat?
Yeah, in fact, here, I got a 5-star review I'm going to read right now from one Warstaff.
Oh, no. Yeah.
Warstaff writes, "This podcast is so heartwarming and wholesome that I listened to it standing in my snow-covered driveway. And by the end of the podcast, it had melted all the snow I planned to shovel. This podcast is literal. Fire emoji. Fire emoji. Fire emoji."
Wow.
Man, objectively true and very considerate. Thank you, Warstaff, for that review.
Hey, thanks, buddy. Appreciate it.
Appreciate it.
You can also get us at Scrollies Podcast, I believe, on all the socials. And we've got some more stuff coming up for you. RatCon should be happening right now as you're listening to this, or about to happen.
Yeah, in the coming days, Ratnado, we will be in Orlando, Florida, taking part in all of the festivities down there. And, folks, we will have a live episode of Scrollies happening there. Airing on Saturday?
I believe so. Saturday.
We will post more details on that in the Discord, Scrollies channel on Team Ratnado. Looking forward to having all of you there to hear us all, to hear how many times we mess up in the recording process and can't edit it out.
That's gonna be really good, actually.
Everyone, thanks for stopping by. We'll catch you in the next one.
See ya.
See ya.